Right, so now we know what we're doing. What we're going to do is, first of all, create a repository. So this one I'm just going to name as multibrand-yt, like that. And then let's make it public and create a repository. So now what we want to do is we want to clone this repo. So let's copy this and then open our terminal. And in here, if you just want to go to the relevant folder that you're building on, and then let's just check what we've got in here. So these are all our builds, and we literally just want to do git clone and then paste in what we have just copied, and then we want to cd into that. So cd to multi-brand dash yt, like that. And now we're in there. It should be an empty repository. So all we need to do is open our VS Code terminal. So that is code space dot and press enter. So this will open our Visual Studio Code up for us. And now if we just expand this, I'm going to open a terminal, and in here we're going to set up the Next.js 14 repository. So let me just zoom in a bit. And now what we want to do is install Next.js. But before we do that, we need to check the node version. So let's do node-v. And you can see I'm on version 14, which is quite old. So we need to upgrade that to the latest. So nvm use node version 20, it is, I believe. So let's press enter. And we don't have that on this machine. So let's do nvm install node version 20. So this will install it. And nvm is a separate package. If you don't have it on your machine, you need to download it first and install that. And then you'll be able to switch node versions like so. And then all we need to do now is nvm use 20, press enter. And then just to double check everything is working correctly, we just do node version like that. And then you can see we're on version 20 here. So let's just clear everything out. And then we want to do Control R, and then it is create next app we're looking for. So this is a previous command that I have used. So all you need to do is do npx create next app at later. So this will install the latest Next.js version. And now what we'll do is we'll get asked a load of questions. So are you okay to proceed? Why? For yes. What is the project name? So this is going to be the multi-brand, but essentially this is the folder that everything will fall in, but we want it in the multi-brand folder over here. So it doesn't matter what you name this. Would you like to use TypeScript? Yes, because this will initialize our TS config and all of that TypeScript stuff. And then would you like to use ESLint? So this is just a linter. It comes as standard. So you should do yes for this because it's best practice to do so. So yes, and we are using Tailwind CSS as well. And would you like the source directory? I'm going to say no. And the app router is yes. So we're going to use the latest app router as well. And then would you like to customize the default import alias at? We'll just keep that as no. So essentially we're using all of the default behavior that Next.js suggests for us. So now you can see it's installing all of these dependencies. So once that's done, we'll be right back. Right, so now everything's installed. It's all in this folder over here. What we want to do is move everything out. So if you just highlight everything and move it out of the multi-brand folder, because this is the folder we should have everything in. So if we click the multi-brand, you can see nothing's inside. So let's delete that and move it to trash. And then what we want to do is we want to run the app. So if you're unsure on how to run the app or any app, all you would do is go in your package.json file over here. And let's close this down. In here, you can see the dependencies that we have. We have React version 18 and above and React DOM version 18 and above. And we also have Next.js version 14 here. So these are the dependencies, and the dev dependencies are essentially the dependencies that we use for development. So that's them two there. And then the scripts is where we know what we need to do. So what we want to do is we're in development mode. So what we'll do is run this command here, which is npm run dev. And this should start our machine on localhost 3000. So let's expand this, and then let's go back and control click or command click if you're depending on what you're using. And then what will happen is we'll have our boilerplate set up over here. So this is essentially the boilerplate that Next.js provides you. You can see here it says get started by editing app/page.tsx. So what I'll do is I'll explain that now. So going back in our code, we have our node modules folder which handles all of our packages. We have a public folder which handles any public images or whatever you have in there. ESLint RC.json, which is the recommended linter that we have in the Next.js project, and a few other files, such as the tsconfig.json, which handles our TypeScript, and also the Tailwind config over here. So what we want to do is go into our app folder, and in our app folder, you can see a few files. So I'll just explain these, which is the global CSS. So essentially, this will import the Tailwind base styles, and then you can overwrite these as well. But what I'm going to do is just delete these, everything in this file, because we want to just basically start from afresh. So let me save that. And then in page.tsx, so the difference in the older Next.js page route and the app route is basically that everything in app is all of the pages. So when you want to create a page, you need to name it page.tsx, and everything in this page is going to be the home page, as you can see here. So let me just delete everything within the main tag, because the higher tags are in the layout file, so like the HTML and the body. So let's just do, this is a multi-brand site, I mean, with the Next.js app, and semantically you should put this in p tags or h1 or whatever you have, but I'm just going to keep it as that. And then what we have is a layout.tsx file. So this layout.tsx file is basically the root layout for your application. So as you can see here, it does say root layout, and you can basically add and amend your metadata as well based on the layout that you're working with. So you can add this across each page, I believe, as well. So let's just go through it. So we have our font, which is Inter, and this gets injected into the body over here. So you can see body class name is inter.classname, which is going to be the font for our app. And then all of the other stuff in here. So we have a HTML tag and a body tag in here. And then everything else after that is the children. So essentially the root layout is like a higher order component that wraps around your app, just like you would if you had a provider of some sort, like a Redux provider or whatever it may be. But this is just for the HTML tag and the body tag. You can extend this further as well if you wanted to, but let's just keep it as simple as this for now. And if we go back in the page.tsx, this is the home page. So let's first of all save this and check everything is working correctly. So let me just refresh the page. And now you can see here, it says this is a multi-brand site with the Next.js app. So essentially, we've got our boilerplate code set up. And what we want to do next is start building the site out. It is one code repositories, but they have shared components. So you can see here, if we toggle between them, there's one thing in common, which is the layout itself. So they have a shared header, and it renders the different brand colors based on the brand itself. So what we'll do first of all is start building out the header, and we'll do that next.